The best way to explain this week's episode of Tsukimichi is it feels like I went to the local fair and I saw some stuffed animal that's probably worth 25 cents at most, and I wasted $100 trying to win that bitch. That rock, I'm saying right now, is rigged. I mean, granted, my boy Shiki did fantastic. He cleaved that thing in two. But I don't know. There's something about that damn rock that has me not really sure about these scores that were given out. I'm like, you know, some of them kind of make sense. But when that little dwarf ran up with his big ass hammer, or his axe that is, mind you, I was like, that's a solid 90. Like, that's gotta be an 80. And it's like, something ain't right about this scoring system. I don't know. I think Makoto and them, they're pulling a fast one. It's a good thing money wasn't involved to participate. It was just them showing off, like, what they're capable of. But morale was at an all-time low when some people saw their scores. Some of them did rather well, all things considered, especially whether it was Shiki or even the two banana girls, like their icicle thing that they did. Had they been able to, like, circle the entire rock, it's very hard to see how you got through it if, like, even touching it, like, had the ice come on you. But either way, legitimately great episode. Just very fun, very different, and we got to see a really cool moment with Makoto as a character, where now he's able to, like, push his mana outside his body and actually turn it into a physical form as this almost, like, suit of armor that allows him to headbutt a tree clean in half, or, you know, basically destroy everything in its path. And he's pretty much a walking abomination of a demon lord, and he has a smile to back it. Full live reaction to this week's episode of Tsukimichi, though, is over on my Patreon. If you want to see my full and good thoughts to this or any of these wonderful episodes, it's over there if you're interested. Now, like I said last week, I mean, it definitely feels rushed. This is kind of like a nice, pleasant, kind of a breathing room episode. This kind of feels like, you know, the fact that we're getting a 2-core Tsukimichi season back-to-back, no breaks, no interruptions. You know, sometimes you feel like, oh, you know, even if something's, like, identical to a source material, there's just ways to extend and maybe flesh things out. And an episode like this just kind of, like, lets you catch your breath, get caught up with where the characters are at, and have a lot of freaking fun as things are building in the background. I mean, the idea of going from him going to that library to try to figure out some ways, some knowledge, figure out what he wants to do here with being able to, it's not really about getting more mana per se, it's more about being able to expand mana quickly and more efficiently outside his body, and we see where that training ultimately goes. It's pretty interesting when you can have a character who, I don't know, it almost felt like Makoto was about to learn the secrets of the universe, like the way they detailed that scene when he was firing off all those embers, those little, like, fire blasts. It just felt like he had an out-of-body experience, and then he woke up like he was drinking on the town, like, all night, and, you know, his women had to come find him, right? It was just very fun to see that, and then just the fact that the next day, he goes from, like, little embers being shot off to kind of, like, fireballs or fire bolts being shot off, and honestly, while in normal circumstances, I don't think the design of his mana outside of his body is intimidating or intense. If anything, it just kind of feels like, oh, if he got thrown off a mountain, he'd be able to bounce himself to safety. But just seeing him headbutt a tree clean over, this is dangerous because, like, you know, while everyone trusts him in this village, and the fact that he's basically on summer vacation, but he's still training his students, he's still training, he's making sure that people and himself are getting the best they can out of the time they're given. But the idea that when he unleashes Super Saiyan Demon Mode, which is like, everyone collectively was like, we might be following the Demon Lord here. Which, hell, most of them would be okay with, but like, there's a reason they were all shooketh from that, and the fact that he just has this kind of tee-hee did I do something crazy energy is just hilarious. Because Makoto is legitimately a scary character when he's serious and pissed off. Whether it was earlier into the season with that interrogation scene with the teacher who he seemingly put out of his misery there, or even at the, I think it was at the end of season 1 when he killed that guy. Like, he has energy that can be downright scary. But in general, he seems like a pretty lovable dude. It's just if you cross him, pose a threat, or do something just irredeemable, he's not the type of guy who's like, I had to let you live, like, he'll kill you. Like, that's how he feels, right? And the idea that he can do something like this, like, just imagine that energy, but him actually pissed off. Whether that's for a right or wrong reason doesn't matter. This was a boy who was casually shooting those fire blasts into the sky all night, seemingly. Did he accidentally destroy a planet? Because who knows how far his range attacks actually go. Because he he probably doesn't comprehend actually how strong he is. But imagine him, you hurt Tomoe, you hurt Mio, you hurt Shiki, you oppose a threat. Like, he's the type of guy who would destroy everything and make sure that your soul stuck around so your future descendants would be able to suffer, you know what I mean? And you'd be able to comprehend their pain and suffering. Like, he's not a cruel person by default, but if you give him a reason to be, like, he will put you out of your misery. And I really like that about his character, because it's hard to write a character like Makoto who can feel so intimidating, because he very rarely has that intimidating energy. In general, he seems like a pretty nice guy, but the idea that he can be that if you give him a reason to, you trust that when he does get into those moments, he has a reason to feel that way. But it is almost like a, how far could he go? Like, could you actually calm him down if something truly horrible, like he thinks Tomoe or Mio or Shiki or someone close to him are dead? What would he do, especially when he's manifesting such strength already so early on, all things considered, into the story, which is kind of crazy to think about. But it was nice just kind of like chilling with the kind of OG crew, the OG squad, and then also just seeing where all the different, because we have quite a few species in this village now, right? And honestly, I kind of feel like we bullied the winged people, because they just kept getting shot. I think they scored like 20 points or something, right? I think they had 20 on the rock, but in general, like, they just kept getting slapped around, and like, Buddy has eagle vision that he can see even if you're obscured. Like, it just ain't a good day to be them. And the fact that the Gorgons got 0 points is just proof it's rigged. I don't care if that thing's already stoned. That should have been a minimum of like some double D scoring, if you know what I'm saying. But jokes aside, very good episode. Very fun, very simple, but it just got the job done with a lot of laughs, some badassery, and honestly, I'm excited to see what will be the first true test that he'll get to use that kind of slime armor, all things considered, you know, making mana manifest into a physical thing. Who will be the first casualty to actually have to go up against it when he's serious about defending, if not hurting you? Overall, though, I had a blast watching this episode. I think it was absolutely a treat to witness, and it was fun. It definitely had some Season 1 vibes, but also did and used a lot of what's been happening in Season 2 to make a very, very enjoyable episode that didn't feel rushed, didn't feel fast-paced. It just let us kick back and relax, kind of feeling like we were on summer vacation alongside our boys. So let me know what you thought down below, and what do you want to see now that Makoto has that level of power at his disposal? So let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around, of course, ring that bell so you get notified when I upload more. And like I mentioned, I have a full live reaction over on my Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Ryan, Thrilled Axis 709, Mr. Yawk, Lelouch XCC, Paul Tar, Zen Virus, A, Edvar, Golden Angel, 1517, and Ulcerin. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, don't get scammed by carnival games, and have a good one.